so I'm recording in two places, and I'm not certain if this is going to work. I'm driving, and I am streaming on Facebook Live simultaneously. I need to be able to use this information for several things that I'm going to do, especially after the conversation that I had. So what I'm doing right now is I'm about to go live. Sunday's Truth. I'm so grateful for the other day. Grateful for the other day. Hobbyist. To kind of give you an idea, had a conversation in my inbox with someone who wanted me to, wanted to open for me. I'm not sure exactly where because we didn't have that conversation. But the conversation that we did have was me telling him what I needed of someone and him making the decision or coming to the conclusion that he was a hobbyist based on what I was asking for him to do. I have a issue with the concept of hobbyists as it pertains to being professional. Not to suggest that you cannot be a hobbyist and work in a professional manner, but we have to take a lot of things into consideration before stepping off into that lane, especially when it pertains to other people's livelihoods and them being professionals and making all of their money off of it, and us as hobbyists. And I say us because, I have a lot of hobbies that I am partaking in and undertaking as well that I wouldn't boast about in a professional space because I'm not prepared to do that for people in that way. So anyway, that's the idea. You'll get it. It's coming. I'm going live right now. And hopefully you'll be able to capture all of it. Great morning. Great morning. What I'm going to start off saying is that I am Fathom DJ, and this is a Sunday's Truth. I must tell you that I am so very, very grateful. I'm so grateful for the conversation that I had in my inbox, firstly, and I'm not going to say his name. I made a few mistakes about how I fashioned my live the other day, and for that I do apologize. I am very grateful, though, that I had this exchange of words, and I'm going to tell you why I'm grateful. I am a DJ. Did you know that? I'm not certain that you know that, especially based on the fact that my name now says Danielle Abston as opposed to saying Fathom DJ. I am going through the process of branding and marketing myself. The reason why I'm going through the process of branding and marketing myself in this capacity is because I want more work. I also want to be taken seriously. What the conversation that I had about the hobbyist and dipping in and out of spaces where professionals are trying to work leads me to believe is that I'm on the right track. When I have lows, business gets slow. At one point, I was ready to take my hat off and not even consider DJing professionally or DJing in any capacity anymore. Good morning, Terrence Stevenson. Thank you so much for joining us. I was considering just throwing it in and giving it away. And I have other talents, multiple talents. I can do a lot of things. I can learn a lot of things. But what sparked me and what I'm reminded of in the conversation that I had yesterday is part of the reason why I continue to do what I do is because I want to provide people with resources in order to further their dreams and goals and aspirations. I have the daunting task, unfortunately, in my work, and I'm not going to say it's unfortunate because it is a blessing. I have the daunting task of being a truth speaker and seeker. It is by design. It is divine that I see truths. I see them when I don't want to. Oh, you want to live in the land of la la. I know. We want to live in the land of unrealism because it helps us in our real lives that we're bored, that we struggle in. Unfortunately, we have this real life to deal with. I'm a Libra. I'm heady. Good morning, Valerie Trout. I'm so glad you're here with me. I know that I am in the company of good people when I say the things that I say, that it's going to be received the way that it's meant. To just give you a freshener, I had an inbox conversation with someone, and he wanted to open for me. We had an exchange in the inbox. I went live. I talked about being respectful to people who do the things that they do professionally. If you're a hobbyist, if you're new to the game, if you're trying to get your cut your teeth, I talked about the concept of suggestions for folks who may be interested in shadowing people in order to see what's going on before they step off into it, before they invest in equipment and things of that nature. Unfortunately, he got offended. And not only did he get offended because I went live and I talked about the situation, I'm not certain if I offended other people in doing that. I'm not going to apologize for being a truth speaker. I can't. The universe gives me this gift and this curse. I sit, I retain information. I'm very heady. I'm also very strategic in my headiness. My goal is to always think about things before I do them. Think about how I'm going to present them so that they are well understood and taken, and that people get the information that they need. When I started DJing, I was a hobbyist. Most of us are. As I started to make my way, things happened really, really fast. I was not in control. I was just happy to be doing that. And of course, that's how most of us start. The thing of it is if you've been DJing for a considerable amount of time, then you have to figure out what's going to be DJing. I don't care what you're doing. If you're a photographer, if you're a graphic designer, if you're a singer, an actor, if you work a regular job, all of these things apply to you. Because what we need is not only multiple streams of income in order to survive in this economy, we also need skill. We also need resources. We did not have the resources that we have today, technology-wise, in order to be able to get information when I started DJing back in 1802. I'm just going to say that, you know, to keep it real. The idea for me, when I made the determination that I was going to continue after all of this time of investing in records, buying equipment and not using it, when I realized that I really, really loved doing this, I had to really think about how I was going to navigate in order to justify continuing it. To justify continuing doing it. That takes a lot of sacrifice. But what I knew at an early age as a child is that I was going to be an artist and that I had to make adjustments and sacrifices then. I made the determination that I was not going to have children then because of the fact that I knew that at some point I was going to have to travel, that I would be up nights, late creating, that I would not be allowed to do these things based on the fact that I had kids. So I knew I wasn't going to have children. This is foresight. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I'm so grateful that it happened the way that it did, because this is a sacrifice. Being an artist, an entrepreneur is a sacrifice. Some of us aren't built for that. in my time of DJing, in my time of just simply going in and buying records and buying equipment and having no idea of my investments, I spent a lot of money. I know for certain I wasted a lot of money. I wasted a lot of resources. Good morning, Lonnie House. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm in the grandest of company, and I'm so grateful that you are here with us. So anyway, like I was saying, I invested a lot of money and a lot of time. I didn't even know I was investing. I was just buying stuff because I love vinyl and I love the culture. Now that I have done the research, I am most certainly preparing myself to be in the game differently. This is where the concept of being an entrepreneurial person, being a creative spirit, and trying to navigate in professional atmospheres is imperative to know. It is imperative. I asked the universe when I decided to continue DJing to give me the resources in order to justify doing it. This is work. Now, you can call it what you want to. Some people will say, well, I have a career. You most certainly do. I have a career too. I'm an entrepreneur. I wear a lot of different hats. I didn't take it as a negative thing that he said he had a career. Good morning, Keisha. God bless you. I'm praying for you and your family as we speak. Thank you so much for being with us. I made the determination. We are pioneers. Now, I have resourced other DJs who would not provide me with information directly. I will not give you their names. But what I will say is, when you find someone who's interested in allowing you to shadow them, good morning, Dwayne. Thank you for joining us. When you find someone who can give you information to further you, to further your resources, to have dialogue with you in order to help you make the determination as to what you want to do, I think you should be grateful and thankful. I am grateful and thankful that I am being resourced and asked questions, that I can provide people with a narrative and an understanding of how to navigate. It is one of the things that I asked for when I asked the universe to allow me to continue to be this vessel. It is one of the reasons why I stand in front of you today to do this work. It's hard. It's hard. I don't want you to think that you can just roll into these situations and simply do one thing and think it's going to be like poof, voila. This is not the work, honey. These people have worked long and hard to get in the positions they have. They have sacrificed more than some of us ever will. There are things I am not willing to do to continue to DJ. I'm not willing to put my titties out. I'm not willing to be butt naked. My time has come for showing parts of myself that I'm not interested in showing. That may, unfortunately, bind me to only doing certain events. I don't want to play overly negative music. That may bind me to doing certain things and not getting opportunities that I could further get in order to get further in my career. I do sacrifice, though. And I'm certain of the concept that we must be open and have dialogue in order for everybody to get further. What I'm saying to you, though, is that because you may be a hobbyist does not say necessarily that you don't have a place in the game. Some folks don't want the places that they are being assigned. Everybody wants to be in the front with their hands in their vest and looking like they own something. The money is made behind us. Behind the artist, the person who invests financially, the person who puts things together, the producers of these events, the promoters, the owners of these clubs. This is the reason why I know folks who, look at that, of course. I got cut off, so I'm trying to reconnect. I'm live. Yes, I'm sorry. I got cut off. My phone rang. I don't know how to do all that. I just go live and whatever happens, happens. So I apologize. This is the reason why some of us are seeking other people. I have, again, and not to throw anybody under the bus, I have associates who will come and buy tons of equipment to justify them being DJs. And I'm going, if you stop buying equipment and take this money and help me build this record label, if you stop buying equipment and take these resources and navigate, you create with me another stream of income. But I know one of the hardest things for some of us to do is, first of all, is to see a woman in front of you. Now, no, we have to talk about this. We must most certainly talk about this, because a lot of folks will struggle with the fact that, you know, I'm supposed to be in the kitchen. You know, I probably should have had a good 2-3 kids by now, and all of these things. But the idea that we can collaborate and help each other in some capacity should not go unaddressed. I didn't say what I said yesterday or the day before yesterday. I didn't say what I said to offend anybody. I said what I said because we can all play a part in this. I'm shadowing other DJs. Good morning, Craig Alexander. Thank you for having my back yesterday and the day before. I appreciate you. I'm going to shadow other DJs. It is one of the reasons why Absent Consulting is one of my brainchilds. I want to be able to provide resources outside of simply being the DJ, because I know that people need them. The first thing that we have to address, though, is confidence. Because this is where everything happens. You have to sit with yourself and look at the concept of how much time you put into and resources you put into things. And if it's not paying off, figure out how better it might pay off. Like I could sit at home and be like, yo, you know, I'm not using this MPC. I'm not using this extra controller. What am I going to do with it? What I'm going to do with it is I'm going to donate these things to an organization who may teach DJing for children. I'm going to donate my time. I'm fashioning a program for this in order to help those and inspire those and encourage those. I don't always have to be the DJ. I've played the promoter and stood in events and allowed other people to DJ. I'm flexible about my positions. I want you to consider the idea that regardless to what you're doing, the universe is going to call you. People are going to check you. There's a possibility that you might be in the wrong position, and the universe is going to move you into a space and bring forth people to help you further define your position. I think it's one of the things that, in essence, was one of the things that I wanted from the particular individual from conception. No. Don't run out and quit your job to be a DJ. Like, that wouldn't make sense. I have a few other streams of income that I'm so glad work for me, that allow me to navigate in and out of these spaces. It is requiring, though, a lot more time of me. Production requires a lot more time of me. And because I want this for my life, it is a sacrifice that I most certainly have made. But what I am saying to those who are interested in furthering the narrative about the hobbyist is, if you're going to work with people, if you're interested and open, and you can humble yourself enough in order to get the information, you can most certainly gain from any position that you play in. Good morning, Boogie Night. Thank you so much. You can gain from every position you play in. No, right now, I'm opening for other DJs. Did you know that? When I play at Renaissance, when I play at Tantrum, I play the early spot. I open for other DJs. I get an opportunity to watch them and learn from them. Do I want an opener? No, I really don't. And to make the conversation go in the direction it should have went in, I could have simply said, no, I'm not looking for anybody. But I wanted to have dialogue, because I want people to know, because of the fact that DJing is not the only thing that this requires. If you're serious, it requires branding and marketing and consistency. Consistency. Now, if you don't, you can pop in and out and do what you want to do. But the idea that there are people who are here, and I have to repeat myself to make sure that the point gets driven home, There are people who are here who do this consistently, who are interested in furthering themselves, who could use your help in other capacities, in other realms. This is where group economics really works. This is where group economics comes from. Nope. Somebody asked me to do other things. I have approached other DJs to shadow them. I won't name any names, like I said. They ignored my response. Could be because I'm a girl. Could be because they don't think that they're worthy of having people understudy and shadow them. There are tons of reasons that it didn't work out. But for those of us who are interested in legacy, I'm interested in a legacy that includes me inspiring people as I go through my process in a lot of different capacities. And that's the reason why I bring Sunday's Truth to you. That's the reason why Absent Consultant is what it is. That's the reason why I'm writing these programs and collaborating with these other people in order to format things to further possibilities. DJing is not a one-lane thing. If you get an opportunity to simply go into a private situation and play someone's party and make money and step out, then that's dope. And most certainly anybody can do that. But if you're interested in furthering, it's going to take a lot more work. And I don't always want to do all of the work. You know, at some point I want to be able to hire people so that I can sit back and focus on what is most important for my business to thrive and for me to be able to continue doing what I do in the capacity that I do. I need to have people in line to be able to help me do that. And that is the reason why I'm not looking to collaborate with DJs from the standpoint of we're going to play together. I'm also, just like anybody else, going to look at your credits. Good morning, Dr. D. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to look at your credits and I'm going to see exactly what you're doing so that it makes sense. Like, I want you to match my work. Hey, my good morning. Cosmic kisses to everybody in my chat. Thank you for joining us. I want other people who do other things, who can find value in what I do. Good morning, Curtis Singleton. Thank you for joining us. To connect and collaborate so we all can get further with what we want. I have concepts that are beyond nightlife. I have concepts that are beyond music that most certainly can be interchanged, that we can collaborate on. And this is the reason why I come in this capacity. It's not just about DJing. I love DJing. I love playing music. It's fun. It's exciting. It is not as glamorous as people will have you believe. It's not. It's entrepreneurship. It's entrepreneurship. It takes effort. It takes work. I get frustrated. Maybe I got frustrated and I clapped that dude. I didn't mean to just clap that dude. What I meant is to have him understand that if he is serious about being a sound provider, if he really wants to open for people. I don't even know that people ask folks to open for them. I've never asked anybody to open for them. It's not that I think that it's disrespectful. I think that it's a good thing that you're asking. What I do think, though, is that there has to be room for conversation. And when somebody tells you what they need, you can take that information and sit back and consider how you can work with them in that capacity. If it's not for you to maybe DJ with them, if they tell you what they need, then you have one or two things that you can do. Either you can say, that's not really why I'm interested in this, or blah, 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 blah. Or let me sit back and think about who could possibly help you further yourself, or possibly how we can work together. I'm so open to being a part of people's projects and processes, regardless to the position. You know, and that's the reason why I have a consulting concept that I'm formatting and furthering, because I don't have to be in the front. You know, there are folks making tons of money whose faces you will never see, who won't get the credit of ownership, but when the deal is done, they're getting the accolades and they're getting the possibilities that are far beyond fame, right? Good morning, James Calamisa. I appreciate you joining me this morning. I'm not going to keep you much longer because I am in hustle mode and I have things to do and people to service this morning. But what I wanted to say to you is, first of all, have confidence. Secondly, don't be afraid to ask people. Don't be afraid to get rejected. Take the information that people are willing to provide you with and sit back and further consider how it can work. Because it can work and it will work. We just got to figure out how to get beyond our egos and fighting each other in order to make things work. You know what I did last night? And then I got to go. I got home from Tantrum. I always go to the grocery store before I go home because, you know, the South Loop has a 24-hour grocery store and I'm all about 24-hour spots. I got home and I was so inspired that I went live and DJ'd live. And I streamed it on my Spreaker account. And if you want to join me on Spreaker.com, you can join me at Spreaker.com and find Fathom DJ. And I realized that if I had kids, that if I had all these other things to do, I wouldn't be able to do these things at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I reminded myself that I'm so glad that my life is working the way that it works. And that I'm a vessel. And that I'm here and I'm able to provide people with the possibilities of better understanding how and why these things work the way that they work. I want to be available. I know I'm not always going to be available. The busier I get, the less available I'm going to be. But I want to make sure that for my legacy, this is important for my legacy. It's a part of the reason why I continue to do what I do. Is to, number one, be a testimony that it can be done. That it can be done regardless to how old, regardless of how many jobs, regardless of how many children, regardless of how many adversities you have. If it's for you to do, it can be done. The question is, realistically, how? This is where the pioneer comes in. This is where someone's going to go before you and do the work and come back and hopefully convey that information to you to make it easier for you to present to you the challenges that you might face doing these things. I know what I need. Why do I know what I need? Because the balls that I drop are where I need help. I'm not afraid to ask for help anymore. I'm furthering myself in order to get in positions with people who can further help me. And it's the reason why I continue. Because DJing, artistic endeavors, don't get the same amount of energy that having a 9-to-5 get. We don't get the same look until we've made it to some stellar position. And the idea that it's not looked at as a career, or the idea that you have to get through all of these mazes. Some people will walk out of college and school and into a position and they have a career and everyone around them is like, yes, you're respected. There's such a walk that we have to walk as artists and creative people that doesn't have the same kind of glamour, that doesn't have the same light, that isn't appreciated and respected in such a same way, that most of the time we're spending trying to convince people that we're really real and serious and vested. And on top of that, I'm a female, so you know. I know you know, because we have to deal with the African American twist on it. We have to deal with the minority twist on it. For me to have to sit and convince people to allow me to work is why I work so hard. And I'm so prepared for the blessings that the universe has to give me based on my work. But I do a lot of having to convince people because it is a male-dominant industry. This is the reason why I work so hard. This is the reason why occasionally I get frustrated when somebody rolls up who is a hobbyist or who only does it part-time or who doesn't take it seriously and is just like, you should let me open for you. And I'm like, all of this work that I'm doing to convince you that I'm real, all of this work that I'm doing to convince these people that they can hire females to do this male-dominant job, all this work that we do to be seen as professional in an environment where DJing can be seen as bum-ass work, and I don't really have room to drag folks. And I'm not saying I'm dragging you. I'm not saying that you know, that you be riding my coattails, but I need people who can stand next to me, match my work, and then do the things that I struggle with. And that's why I'm going to be having all these meetings this coming week. It's the reason why I'm extending myself to places and spaces that I haven't extended myself to, because I want to make sure that those people who want to collaborate can do that. People who need resources can get them. That you know that there's power in numbers and that we can inspire each other in doing this. Oh, I know my time. I know I got to go. Somebody had the nerve to say, how do you hold seminars and drive and video and all of this stuff? And I appreciate you. And I'm so grateful that I'm inspired to have this conversation with you this very morning, because it's part of my testimony. It's part of the reason why I'm here. It's part of the reason why I'm transparent. I'm not hiding right now. I hide. I do. I go into my nest. I create. I do my work. I get kicked. I get bruised. I get badgered. I get beat. I don't tell people what I'm thinking or doing because I'm sensitive. You know, I huddle. And then I have to pop out and I have to show you what I'm doing so that you understand what it takes and what one goes through and how taxing it can be. How much energy it takes, you know, to be scrutinized, to be dissected, and to be scoffed at, and to be teased. Like, this is real. Like, we ain't kids. We're not kids. And we still face the brunt of being humiliated. We still face the brunt of being bullied, especially with social media. I was a little troubled yesterday about the fact that I could have offended people. Truth does hurt. But there's so much to gain in being truthful with people. There's so much to learn and to grow from pulling back the skin and getting beyond what is surface and superficial. And I most certainly am not surfacey, and I'm not superficial. And it's part of the reason why I struggle. But because I can't do the things that people do without being deep, because I'm deep and I'm different. And I know that. And I'm blessed and honored and grateful on this day to be bringing you this information in this capacity. I send you cosmic kisses and well wishes to your day and week. Be encouraged, be inspired, be unafraid, be confident, be sure of yourself. There are forces beyond this planet that are here to aid you, to help you in your mission. I call on these folks, these spirits, these people every day to aid me in my mission, because I know that it is something that is beyond the beliefs of folk, you know, who work 9 to 5, beyond the beliefs of even artists. There are artists who don't even realize, you know, how much energy you put into trying to get up and do the work, being told no every day. And it's not just the artist thing, but I'm going to leave y'all with that because I really do have to go. Space. Woo! Thank you. I'm done. And that is it. I will talk to you guys, and I will be spinning for you again soon. Cosmic kisses and well wishes. That is my live stream, my Sunday's Truth. It's an extension of what I do as a DJ entrepreneur. And I am out. Thank you.